Hey, nosy neighbors, what's going on? How are you? What is going on? I need everybody to come on in and like and share the live. Thank y'all for coming on through. I see y'all been in here a little early. So hopefully notifications are going out. Y'all know my nerves been aggravated today. I'm just trying to tell you. I said I've been so aggravated. Y'all come on in and like and share, like and share, like and share the live. Let me mute this over here. Let me refresh this. So like and share this live, just like you would like and share the mess. Now, yeah. Like and share just like you would like and share the mess. Like and share it like you would like and share the mess now. Hey, everybody. Madam President Harris did her thing. She dang on sure did. She dang on sure did. But I'm going to talk about a couple of things because, I'm part of, of course, there's people younger than me, but part of the younger generation, there's just several questions that I have. And I want to talk about a couple of things tonight. And as I said in my title, is anyone asking, how do we keep in it up here? So if you would come on in, like and share, like and share. I'm going to give a couple of minutes for people to come on in. Come on in, come on in, come on in and like and share. I'm going to say some hellos to everybody. Let me actually share it myself. Share it to the groups that you're in. Share it to your personal pages. Share it all across the town. Can you, will you, won't you? Share it all across the town. How many people have shared the live? Y'all come on in, come on in, come on in and like and share. First person I see in the building, Lady 5-0 was on YouTube. Thank you, Lady 5-0, for coming on through. How are you? Rika Smith, Lasagna, Deidre Simmons, Freshly. Hold on one second. All right, I'm back. Y'all come on in and like and share, like and share, like and share. Where is that? As I said, share it as if you were sharing the mess. I already know how this is gonna go. And I've seen it too many times. I'm looking for this remote. And I don't see it. Y'all come on in and like and share, like and share, like and share the live. Not gonna be on long, but come on in and like and share. Let's get that over with. All right. Keep leaving and coming bike. So Deetra, Simmons Freshly, Thelma, Jordan is in the building. Lily Coleman, Antoinette Lane, Lynette Buford, Lena is in the building. Lena Hawthorne, April Sanders, Rika Smith. So hello one, hello all, hello one, hello all. Lioness Hart is in the building. Laverne Cook, Mama D, hello, 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 hello. Y'all come on in and like and share, like and share. want to express a couple of thoughts. Twan is in the building. Hey, Twan, haven't seen you in a minute. Thank you for coming on through. Twan Lamar is in the building. Tango Barnes, hello, hello, hello. Keisha Pickney, Lisa Davis, Lisa Handy Davis. Y'all make sure you're following Feeding Souls with Chef and Tay down to the Facebook, down to the Instagram. Feeding Souls with Chef and Tay. Hey, we got Facebook coming on in. Chanel is in the building. Hey, Chanel Woodard, how are you? Jay Jackson Allen coming on through. Renee. Hello, hello, hello. Percy Williams, hey to you and your wife. Thank you for coming on through. Chanel Woodard, hello, hello, hello. Joanne Easton, hey, Joanne. How are you? Mom of Three is in the building. Hello, how are you? Mom of Three, I believe, is one of our newest subscribers. Thank you, Mom of Three, for coming on through. I appreciate you, my love. Virginia Hill, hello, hello, hello. So hello one, hello all. I can't get to everybody. I think I just saw Penny. Penny Vestine is in the building. Again, make sure you're following Feeding Souls with Chef and Tay. Feeding Souls with Chef and Tay. How many shares do we have on Facebook? Let me see. Only 10 shares on Facebook. So listen, I already know how this is going to go because I'm not talking about any mess tonight. And I've seen it 1,000 times. So I'm not even going to get into it with y'all tonight about it. Didi is in the building. Hello, Didi. Thank you for coming on through. I appreciate you, my love. By the way, I am just 5 subscribers away from 8,400. I do need 5 people to head over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Let me get y'all the link. Ooh. I heard something. I hope I put in the right link. I was typing too fast. I heard something on the Cash and the app. Y'all know I love to hear something. Don't send it if you can't afford it. Miss Phyllis, thank you so much for always supporting the channel. Darnell, today is my birthday, 9/11. It is 9/11. Miss Phyllis's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Phyllis. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, my love. Wishing you many more birthdays. If anybody else's birthday is today with Miss Phyllis, that's your birthday song. If I missed your birthday, that's your. Wait a minute. What in a hip hop? I don't know why the sound didn't come through. I'm about mad about it. Hold on, let me see. I want y'all to hear the sound. Because when I tell you, I just seen. Hold on, do I need to refresh? Hold on. Hold your line. I just want y'all to know about the Cash App. Let me see. Let me refresh. Because something ain't happened. Let me see if I refresh. Hold on, y'all. Y'all get in here and like and share the live. That's what you do. Get in here and like and share the live. I'm going to try to stay on Facebook and YouTube. I don't see why not. Child, there we go. I heard something huge. Cash App. Freaking enormous. I don't know what other. Enormous. I don't know what word to use. Shawnette, you done show out. Shawnette done show out with the Cash App. Baby, ain't nothing but God. And I thank you, Shawnette. Enormous Cash App. Dang on it. Miss Thelma, thank you for the Cash App. Miss Thelma, thank you for always supporting the channel. I appreciate you. Shawnette, you done showed all the way out on today. Baby. Well, that's a nice surprise, being that we're not talking about mess. Okay. So thank you for that support. Even when we're not talking about mess, I appreciate you. I need everybody to come on in and like and share the live. I'm about to just hop straight into it because, again, I know how it is when we're not talking about mess. I do need 4 people to subscribe to my YouTube Hey, everybody. Woo! I heard something. Baby, let me see. I hear it, but I'm trying to see it. Nikki, thank you so much for the cash out. Thank you so much, love. Thank you for the cash out. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. My first time seeing you, Nikki. So if that's your first time sending the cash out, I appreciate you, my love. I really, 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 really do. Thank you, Penny. That is the cash and the app, and y'all know I love to say we are blessed today. And thank you. Yes, yes, indeed, baby. Everybody ain't broke. I mean, I'm just trying to say. But if you can't afford to send nothing, please don't. And that's all in seriousness. But if you would like to support, I am here for it. You know I love to hear something. I'm gonna put my YouTube in again. I need about 4 people. All right, and we're just about to get started here in a few, okay? And listen, if we're just gonna have a few people on Facebook, we might as well just head on over to YouTube. Why are we gonna do that for? We might as well just head on over to YouTube. Let me give y'all the YouTube link. Okay, so we can all be together in one place. Let me give y'all the YouTube link. Head to YouTube. Wow. Hey, Ursula Reed. Hi, darling. Haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Thank you for coming on through. There is a YouTube link. Do not forget, y'all, we are having our Spanish class on the 16th, which is just in 5 days, I believe. So don't forget. We are having our Spanish class September the 16th through December the 4th. It's going to be Mondays and Thursdays, 1 hour a day, 1 hour on Thursday, 1 hour on Monday. It's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the beginner class. Let me get y'all the link. Only thing you need to do to participate is be a member. So if you're already a member, you are already in there. If you want to become a member, click on the green badge on Facebook or click join on YouTube. The only other thing you need aside from that is the book. I'm about to put in the comments the book. This book will cover. This book will cover the beginning class, intermediate, and advanced. When we get to that, I see something. Vera Doja, thank you so much for becoming a member. You might be renewing your membership. Oh no, Vera, this is your first membership. Vera Doja, thank you so much for becoming a new member. I appreciate you, my love. I really, really, really do. Thank you for becoming our new member. Y'all welcome Vera as our newest nosy neighbor. And I forgot, we got quite a few new people. If you are new here, we are the Nosy Neighbors. And if you're out there in the middle of the YouTube and the Facebook street showing your ass, we're going to talk about it. I want to give a shout out to all of the Nosy Neighbors always sending me information, let me know what's going on. Give a huge shout out to all of the Nosy Neighbors who lock it in and become official members of the channel. Those Nosy Neighbors, we say they are paying their HOA fees to be in the neighborhood, to keep the grass cut, to keep the yards clean. Baby, okay? Thank you for the Nosy Neighbors that become members. Thank you all for the Nosy Neighbor community. So everybody is welcome in Vera. The class is the 16th to December the 4th. We're going to do beginner. We're going to do intermediate. We're going to do advanced. And that is it. So if you have any questions, you can hit me up on my inbox on Facebook. But that is pretty much it. You just become a member, or if you're already a member, make sure you renew your membership if you have not already. And get your book, and I posted that link in the chat. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, I watched the debates last night, and I took a few notes, and I actually want to talk about a couple of things. I guess I want to start out here. Now, I tried to find this on TikTok, and I couldn't see the young ladies. Oh, actually, she's I couldn't see her stuff on TikTok. But I wanted to play this, and I don't know how many of you all have seen this, but she breaks down quite a few things, and I don't want, it's not in the attempt, it's just to bring awareness to what's going on or potentially is going on, and it fits into my question, how do we keep ending up here? So I want to start here, and then we will actually get to a lot of things that were said in the debate, but I definitely want to start here. So give me a second. Let me bring this down for a second. Let me share my screen. And actually, you all, I'm gonna show you the beginning of this, but I don't always know how everything works as far as copyrights and all that stuff, and I don't be trying to have no problems. So everybody, if you're just coming in, please go ahead and like and share the live. And head on over to, I forgot, we're heading over to YouTube. So I'm going to put the link in the chat one more time, and we're just going to head on over, and we're going to be on YouTube. I'll put it in there one more time. Okay. What is that doing? That's a private chat. Head over to YouTube. All right, Facebook, the link is in there once more. I need y'all to head on over to YouTube. Head on over, and we are about to get started. So I put the link in there. I'm about to drop Facebook off at the pool, and we're about to get started with everything. So let's see. Oh, no, that's the wrong button. And, okay. Let's see. All right, so it's just us over here on YouTube. And we'll wait for the Facebook people to come on over or whatever, but we are about to get it started. Okay, so listen. Okay, so y'all said MSNBC Joy Reid. That is exactly who it is, Lynn Buford. And I ran across this video that she did on TikTok. And somebody copied the video, but I tried to find the original, and I just didn't see it. However, I am going to share the screen. Let me make sure I share the audio. I'm going to share the screen. You may not always see the video, but the important thing is to listen to what she's saying. And this is part of what I want to talk about tonight. Let me turn my volume all the way up. All right, so I'm about to play it, y'all. If you haven't seen this, please just listen to what she's saying. We're going to discuss this. Is that Joy Reid? Yes, that is Joy Reid. And I just I've seen her before, don't get me wrong, but I didn't know her name, and I hadn't really looked her up like that. So let's talk about it. Let me play the live, and then we're going to continue to discuss this topic tonight. I thought this was very important. Now, yes, the debate was important last night, but as some of the viewers were saying, the policies and stuff that is potentially going to affect us wasn't discussed. So let's listen and discuss some of this stuff, okay?
Hey guys. So we know that over the last, several days, there's been a lot of conversation about a certain old person, an old infirm person who had a really bad debate last week. We've all had these conversations. Everybody's group chats are blowing up about it. All the op-ed pages, the New York Times is telling everybody what to do. All the op-ed, all the smart people are writing think pieces and such about what should be done next as far as the candidates are concerned on the ballot. Well, today the Supreme Court just made all of that completely irrelevant because the Leonard Leo's handpicked six, the Federalist Society six, the Leonard Leo six on the court, just declared days before this nation celebrates its independence, presumably from the British king, that the president of the United States and a former president of the United States, that they are a king. They have granted monarch-like powers to Donald Trump and declared him immune from prosecution for any acts that can be declared official acts. So any acts that he conducts as president, and said that any acts he conducts as president, which may have resulted in crimes, must be presumed to be official acts if they are done through the purview of the presidency. And he is only not immune from strictly personal acts. What that means in regular people terms is that as long as Donald Trump used the apparatuses of the presidency, he can kind of do anything. So when he ordered his Justice Department, or tried to pressure his Justice Department and threatened to install different people in the Justice Department to come up with fake evidence of voter fraud so that he could declare the elections in Michigan and Pennsylvania and Arizona and Georgia to have been invalid. He can do that. And all the communications that he had with the Justice Department, even if they were criminal in nature, are immune from prosecution and cannot be used by prosecutors, by Jack Smith and others. He can do it because he used the official instruments of the presidency. When he tried to pressure Mike Pence, including using a violent insurrection to pressure him to accept fake electors instead of the real ones, the Biden ones, to accept the electors of himself and Donald Trump instead. As long as he used the official apparatuses of the presidency to do it, he can do it. Presumably, if he were to use SEAL Team 6 to try to assassinate one of his political opponents, so long as he did it through the auspices of the presidency, let's say use the NSA to say, let me investigate the Bidens as a national security threat. And then we need to go ahead and assassinate them when they take a foreign trip. We'll just go ahead and use drones to assassinate them, let's say in a foreign country. And we'll use SEAL Team 6 to go in and get them like they got bin Laden. As long as you do it through the official apparatuses of the presidency, he can do it. He can do anything. When you're president, they let you do it. That's what they just ruled today, including 2 members of the court whose wives are insurrectionists. They did not recuse from that case. Clarence Thomas and Alito ruled in that case, in which John Roberts wrote the majority opinion. Let me read you what Sonia Sotomayor wrote for the 3 liberal justices, really the only justices that actually care about the Constitution. This is what she wrote in dissent. Never in the history of our republic has a president had reason to believe that he would be immune from criminal prosecution if he used the trappings of his office to violate the criminal law. Moving forward, however, all former presidents will be cloaked in such immunity. If the occupant of that office misuses official power for personal gain, the criminal law that the rest of us must abide will not provide a backstop, And then she added something that's never been included in a Supreme Court dissent that anyone can think of, even Plessy, none of them. With fear for our democracy, I dissent. This is DEFCON 1, friends. This lady has fear for our democracy because of the 6 other people on that court who care not about democracy, who have essentially said on the eve of the celebration of July 4th, Independence Day, that we do have a king, that our president is, in effect, a king, and that as long as they use the apparatuses of government, and this is on the heels of them saying that bribes are legal. Because remember, what Donald Trump's argument was that the only thing you can do, the only recourse if a president commits a crime is that you have to impeach them and convict them, which has never happened, a conviction. Do you know what you impeach people for? Treason and bribery and other high crimes and misdemeanors. Treason, which generally would mean trying to overthrow the government. They've taken that off the table. Bribery, well, they just previously took bribery off the table because they said as long as you pay the bribe after the acts are done by the public official, the elected official should not get paid in advance. They should just get paid after they do what you want. That's a gratuity, not a bribe. So they've taken bribery off the table. So who gonna check them, boo? How are you going to impeach a president for treason and bribery when they just said treason is legal as long as you use the apparatuses of the presidency to commit said treason? And bribery is legal because all you have to do is call it a gratuity. So they've taken off the table the only other thing that the Trump lawyer said you could do to a president if they commit crimes. So essentially, the presidency is now officially above the law. Well, who wouldn't want that job? Because you're a king on the eve of Independence Day. That's what they just did. This election is no longer about the old guy that's in the White House now. Like, all the op-ed pages and the New York Times can run around and opine about, what Joe Biden should do. And, y'all have fun with that. Enjoy yourselves, intellectual thought leaders. I no longer care. Doesn't matter to me anymore. It's above me now. There's a Waffle House next door. There's a Best Western next door as well. It's above me now. It's above Joe Biden now. Don't care about Joe Biden's age, infirmity, that he shuffle when he walk. I don't care. He could be seated for the rest of from now to election day and never get up off a chair. He could sit down. He could roll around in a wheelchair. He could be on a skateboard, seated. I don't care. Donald John Trump cannot be allowed back into the White House, because if you combine that madman with this court, two of whose members are insurrectionists one of whom flew an upside down flag at his home and blamed it on his wife, who's also crazy. The other of whom's wife literally was part of the insurrection. And they ruled in this. They put themselves in the Leonard Leo 6. They went ahead and ruled on this with no shame. You combine this court, two of whose members are going to immediately resign, and put 30-year-olds in there, including probably the guy who wrote the opinion in the beaters case, meaning that beaters should be able to get machine guns, which, by the way, they have now arrogated to themselves the power to decide all federal rules. Everything, whether your plane that you fly in is safe, how much carbon can be in the atmosphere, how much filth can be in your water. They said agencies that have experts can't decide that. They will decide that. So they are kings, and Trump is king. You put him in the White House, combined with this court and a Republican House and Senate, we're done, y'all. All the rights that were won in the 20th century, the hard-earned rights of women, laborers, workers, the rights of children. Remember, child labor used to be legal. The rights of Black folks, forget that. The rights of non-white immigrants, forget that. All of the 20th, they are trying to repeal the entire 20th century, and they're doing it fast. Between them and these crazy Republican governors, they are repealing the American century, the 20th century, because they don't like it and they want back the 19th century, the century when super rich white men, unchecked and untaxed, amassed great wealth, passed it down with no taxation to their descendants, and pretended that they had earned it on their own, that they were just masters of the universe. They want that era back. They think that the 20th century was an abomination, and they are dismantling it. They're coming for every single one of our rights. They're not done. They're not done. If you love having your freedom, having the freedom for contraception, LGBTQ rights, that's going too. If you don't think they're coming for Obergefell, if you don't think they're coming for all these rights, then you are delusional. They're coming for all of it. They're dismantling the 20th century. They are repealing the 20th century. This ain't about Joe Biden anymore, y'all. It ain't about his policies. There are a lot of them I disagree with. There's a lot of them I disagree with deeply, deeply, morally. But it's above me now. It's above him now. You cannot allow Republicans to control the White House, the House, and the Senate, and the Supreme Court, and all of these states. You're now voting for your life. You must vote. Listen to Taraji P. Henson, y'all. Project 2025, they've now just implemented it from the court. You don't even need it now. You have this court, plus Trump, plus the House, plus the Senate, plus all these states. Y'all better vote for your lives in November. I'm gone. Y'all be good. And God, good luck and God bless.
So more of a conversation that I would like to have, how do we keep ending up here? How is it that, there's been all of this stuff, is, particularly to African Americans, not only for African Americans, for women as well. How we think we get somewhere overcoming all of this stuff as African Americans, how women, whether Black, white, Chinese, whatever, get somewhere or think you're getting somewhere overcoming all of these things. And we still have all of these adversities. And not only do we have all of these adversities, at every checkpoint, we're still kind of like at a fight for it. You know what I'm saying? It's still not our inevitable rights. We're still having to it's at jeopardy again from being taken away. We still end up at these places, and it's so much frustrating to me. Like, how is it we make progress, or whatever people want to call it, and then at some juncture one person can snatch it all away? It's so frustrating to me. I do vote, and I am going to vote, but if I'm being honest, I can see why some people don't. Because, it's like a game. You know, it's like a game that's being played. Oh, go out to vote. And I honestly don't think that either party necessarily has my best interest. We've had some people that have come in and we think they're going to do this grand thing. And I'm not saying they didn't do anything, but what I'm saying that they are still, they're not, without a structure or within limitations of either. They still have this system to answer to. Just say when Obama was in, we still have to have, is the Senate and the is everybody under the Democrat ticket, and to get all of the votes through, and it's not. So it always seems to be this parameter around getting something done. Oh, do we have the House and the Senate? Well, you don't have the House and the Senate, you're still going to have a struggle to get something done. Oh, well, if this person comes in and they have the House and the Senate, they can get everything done. It just seems like a game. Now, I do vote, and I stress again, I do vote, and I am going to vote. And I encourage people to vote. But what I am saying is very so much frustrating that we just find ourselves like, how are you even going to say that, just say, for example, Roe v. Wade, we got all of these years, Roe v. Wade or whatever, and now you're going to overturn it. Now it's up to the state. Now in some states, they're saying it doesn't matter if women have a baby by somebody who they didn't want to have it by or not. Some states are actually voting and saying that. How do we make so much progress, and then at the snap of a finger, it can be taken away? At the snap of a finger, we have, this Trump that's talking about, oh, they're taking the black jobs, as if we're delegated to the least, as if we didn't have a black president, as if we don't have a mixed vice president that's black, as if we don't have black leaders and black engineers and black doctors. But you want to relegate black jobs that I'm sure there are more than black people working on. It's not just a black job. How do we keep ending up here? Because it's very much so tiring to me. I can see why the younger generation is a bit more physical when it comes to this stuff, because all of that yapping, we done yapped. The mouth's been open and closing all of this time. We done marched. We done did all of the things. And yet we keep ending up here. It's very crazy to me. Like, I just can't get how we achieve this, oh, well, we can, all of these freedoms. And then, oh, the voting rights for black people is up in up for discretion, because the Voter Right Act is expiring, and now is somebody gonna renew it? That's fucking asinine to me. I'm sorry, that's crazy. I don't want to like be somewhere and all of a sudden my whole everything is in the hands of an election. By mind you, I already think they're going to do whatever they want to do with the election. Mind you, the election, by popular vote, we can popular vote a person, and the electoral college cannot choose that person if they don't want to. It's all of these things. And it's crazy to me, because it's the divide. It's the divide that people have put in there, and they've indoctrinated people's minds. And when I say they indoctrinated people's minds, I'm talking about everybody's mind. Well, not every single person, but I'm saying the indoctrination is not limited to race. Some Caucasians have been indoctrinated. Some black people have been Mexicans. Maybe you got the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans and whatever. He was just Trump was just flicking y'all paper towel like y'all was nothing. Was hesitant to rebuild Puerto Rico when Puerto Rico was now a U.S. territory. Was hesitant to give the funds to rebuild Puerto Rico, but we want to count it as a U.S. territory. But when it comes to it being a financial problem, we want to, I don't know, should we pay for that? We want to do that, and we want to flick paper towels. See, it's all of these things. It's all of these things, and I do want to open up the line, and I want to open up the line for intelligent, mature conversation when we get to that point. But it is all of these things. So I took some notes about the presidential election. Let me get to that. But again, Project 2025, which Trump said in this debate that he was not for whatever. Do I believe him? No, I do not. I do not believe him that he is not going to implement a lot of the things, if not all, that he can from Project 2025. I don't believe him. He's proven himself to be a liar multiple times. CNN did a clip at the end of that debate. 30 plus lies came from Trump, CNN said, and one lie they said from Kamala Harris. 30 plus lies. I think it was 33. I'm not exactly sure the exact number. And one lie that they caught from Kamala Harris. So a couple of things. Okay. We already talked about Black Jobs, Project 2025. A lot of the questions Trump didn't want to answer. And I've seen that with politicians altogether. Somebody will ask them a yes or no question. They won't answer yes or no. It's all of these big conversations about, I'm just trying to run a circle around you in your answer, and I catch on to it every time. You won't answer the question. Now I found it, and Kamala was wearing him out. Let's make no mistake about it. Kamala was wearing Trump out. She said he got handed over $400 million and still filed bankruptcy 6 times. I said, my God, on today. Baby, now he said he didn't get handed $400 million, but that's what she said. He got handed over $400 million and still filed bankruptcy 6 times. They're trying to take away a lot of the rights from, we already talked about that. The women, it's said that they're coming for LGBTQ. Now, here's the thing. If you're not LGBTQ, because you don't never know even my standpoint on LGBTQ. But here's the thing. I believe in that phrase that I heard somebody say, if one group's rights are taken and up for debate, then everybody's are. It may start with that group, but it might end with your ass. So, be in support of the rights, the fundamental rights of people, because just because it's not you, it don't look like you or whatever, it could end up at you. And that's another part of the divide. Instead of everybody being in support of each other and everybody sticking together and standing up, there's a divide because it's like, oh, this is me and this is you. But actually it's not, it's everybody. Let me see. Trump was asked, was there anything that you would change about January the 6th? He did not answer. They asked him 2 or 3 times. He did not answer. He blamed it on Pelosi. But nothing he said he would change. We've already talked about Trump's vice president select being like, I don't know, they said he was a drag queen child in his past days. Let me see if I don't know if I deleted his little clips or not. Let me see if I still got them. I think I may have deleted them. They said he was dressing up as drag. We talked about that over here before. But he still, and it looked like he had on mascara when they was talking to him last night. It looked like mascara to me. What's his name? Vance. It looked like mascara. They asked him about, they said Donald Trump said it would be a bloodbath if he didn't win. And what did he mean by that? So then he tried to change it, flipping the thing. And let me not. Flipping the story, you know, when you ask somebody something and they're just like a politician and want to try to run a circle around you, but if you're smart enough, you realize they're trying to run a circle and the circle is not working. Same thing Donald Trump did several times last night. Let's see what else the notes here. They said Donald Trump fired by 81 million people. So Kamala was like, dude, you was fired by 81 million people in America. Nobody wanted you. You lost the election. They didn't want you. They don't want you then. They don't want you now. Ukraine was mentioned, you know, with the war with Russia and Ukraine. The other war was mentioned where we withdrew our troops from. All of these things were talked about. Let's see. So when it got to, I found this interesting. When it got to the war that I don't know how long that war's been going on in Afghanistan. It's been a long time. And when it got to the withdrawal from the war, you know, Kamala said she supported Joe Biden in withdrawing from the war. Other presidents said they would withdraw. They did not. And we're saving so many billions of dollars from withdrawing from that war. Now, I'm not a war analyst. I'm not even actually into politics. I do know that the United States inserts themselves in stuff. I believe there's a reason why we do it. You know, we're not doing it for free. But it was said that the negotiations that were initially in place was that Trump negotiated with the Taliban, who was actually the people who were, you know, doing the slaughters and all of this stuff, and over in Iran actually doing all of these things. He negotiated with the Taliban. Now the Taliban was supposed to be, you know, in negotiation with him. Trump said that the U.S. didn't do what we were supposed to do, and that's what fell through or whatever. All of these things were said. And it particularly got to Russia and the Ukraine. Now, of course, Trump's going to say if he was president, Russia and Ukraine would have never happened. Do I believe that? No, I don't. That's everybody up to the belief. You know, and he don't even know, because he you know, you would have to have been in presidency to see. But according to him, it would have never happened if he was the president. So it's all of these things. Let me see. Climate change, which Trump has said previously that climate change was a hoax. I don't believe climate change is a hoax. I do believe we emit so much population, so much pollution in this world, from factories, from cars, from all of these things. We dump stuff in the ocean. You know, all of these. We can look at our oceans in the United States to tell they're trash. When I went to Mexico, when I went to the Bahamas and saw the waters there, just as waters that I've never seen before, how their waters look in the Bahamas and how the waters look in Mexico and how our waters look in the United States, outside of some parts of Florida, you can clearly see the difference. You can clearly tell within the wildfires and all of the things that there's something going on with the climate. But I do know, I've heard Donald Trump say before that it's a hoax. So all of these things were talked about. But the bigger part of and of course, you know, we can't forget, out of Ohio, Donald Trump said that people were eating dogs and cats. They were eating people's pets. And they said they found no evidence of that. All of these things were talked about. But the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about tonight is the policies. And why do we keep ending up as a country? And why, as me, as a civilian, why do I and my freedoms have to be up for renewal? Why does it seem like my freedoms, which have already been fought for, and which were in the beginning of this country, were never upheld? The freedom, liberty, and justice for all, inevitable rights that were never upheld for Black people, and the fight that has been fought, and for women, the fight has been fought. But why does it seem like it's up for renewal every 8 years, like it's a license? That's what I want to talk about tonight. So I'm going to put the StreamYard in for everybody. I would prefer intellectual conversation, very much so. I'm going to put the StreamYard. Is anybody wants the actual phone number to call in? I'll put that in as well. But there is the StreamYard. You're going to have to let me know in the chat if you want the calling number. The StreamYard is there. I did get some cash outs while I was playing the live. I heard something. Miss Billy Francis Watkins, thank you for the big cash out. She said, can you please play a song from Frankie Beverly? So listen, I want to give my condolences for Frankie Beverly, who passed away. I did see that. Now, I can't play his music. Otherwise, I would get a copyright strike. But you know what? Maybe at the end, I'll have to think about it, Miss Billy. Because the one thing I will say, and I appreciate you, Miss Charnette, for coming through at a time like this. Because, again, if I'm in the mess or if I'm, caught up in the mess or whatever, I have all of these people, up to thousands of people I've had on my live before. But when we talk about something serious, and here's the thing, I could be talking about mess right now. There's some mess going on right now, some lies, and lies that had to be spread by a nobody. I could be talking about that, but it's crazy how we can be all enthralled with that. But when it comes to literally your future, and the rights that you have and all of these things, and maybe people think it's some games, or maybe they say they don't got nothing to do with it. It actually is something. And I wanted to say this too. I put the string on it. I wanted to say this. It reminds me of the scripture that this whole thing in this world is about good and evil. It's really about good and evil, not Republican and Democrat, not black and white, not Hispanic and Asian, not man and woman. It's about good and evil. And it shows itself and it creeps itself up every single time about good and evil. But the face of it is Democrat and Republican, man and woman, all of these different faces and boxes that has been put in. But actually, the end of that story is about good and evil. Just want to remind people of that. And while we can sit here and talk about mess all the time or whatever, we have all of this stuff coming up. And baby, what you gonna do when all of this separation and it ain't no job, but you can't even pay the internet to be on the internet? What you gonna do then? What you gonna do when there ain't no food? What you gonna do? Is that person you've been talking about for 12 years? You might need them. You might could have needed that person. What you gonna do? So I'm gonna talk about that tonight. Join the StreamYard. The StreamYard is in the chat. If y'all need the number, y'all let me know. If y'all need the number, y'all let me know. Does anybody need the call-in number? The StreamYard is in the chat. I did hear that as well, Thelma. He invited them to Camp David. I did hear that as well. He shows himself and he shows who he is a lot. And you know what? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about Black people for Trump. That's correct. That's a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy to me. Black people for Trump. Given that can you not see through the smoke and mirrors? Can you not hear the innuendos? Can you not tell? Can you not see who he cozies up to? Can you not? It's a lot of ignorance, and there's a lot of Black ignorant people. I'm sorry to say, but there's a lot of Black. I'm sorry. There's a lot of ignorant people everywhere. Let's not make no mistakes about it. But in particular, can we not see through who this man is? But you want to vote for him? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. And that reminds me of the foolishness on the internet. And people, that's not what I'm doing. I'm not doing that. I'm not saying that. It really speaks to the mental cases of the world and the mindset of the world, and people who they don't have this comprehension. We can see this all across the nation. Comprehension skills, they don't have it. Uh, I've heard teachers talk about, a child can read two paragraphs, and you ask them, well, who is the main character? What's the main thing that happened? And they ain't got no answers. There's no comprehension skills sometimes that we have that these people have. I have it. They don't have no comprehension skills, so it's no wonder that they're Trump supporters or that they're in the places that they're in, and all of the things. Hey, Carla, how are you doing, my love?
Hello, my love. I hope you can hear me. I'm in the car. Can you guys hear me clearly?
I can.
Okay, good. I'm sorry. I'm just coming from Taekwondo with my daughter, but I'm
That's
so glad.
Taekwondo.
Yeah,
So,
Taekwondo.
so you're in Taekwondo, your daughter, or both?
You know my butt. Let me tell you, my juiciness does not be about to be up there kicking them
Look,
buttons.
I didn't
I
want
ain't
to
even trying to play.
assume. I didn't want to assume. Well, tell
It's
your
the kid.
daughter, we're gonna need her to do that Taekwondo because we might need some protection here coming up.
Listen, that's exactly why we are registered gun owners because I don't play, and she know how to hold her own with Taekwondo and a gun. But
Okay.
I look at. I'm so glad you're having this topic, and I hope and pray that everyone on this line is registered, no matter who you are voting for. I hope that they are registered, and I hope that we don't have that mindset and that the individuals on this phone are truly listening to Darnell and say, well, I don't like, Kamala because of A, B, and C. You don't know Kamala. I don't know Kamala. But what I
Mm-mm.
know, Kamala has been speaking for the people, not for herself. Kamala has been speaking for the people that are on this call because I don't know any multi-dollar millionaires on this call. Now there might be a few because I know there's some big ballers. And if you support Trump, you can support Trump. But you got to just tell me how you can support a man that will blatantly lie in your face like it ain't nothing.
And if you
I mean,
on
like
here
it ain't nothing.
and if you on here and you're a multi-millionaire, can you send me a couple of dollars? I just want to
Can
send a
I
couple.
can I put my cash app in the chat? Can they
It-
send me a few?
Listen, if they're multi-millionaire, they can send us both something. But go ahead. I just want to say
Exactly.
that.
I just want to, I mean, and just all general speaking and conversation, no politician is perfect. Not even Obama was perfect, right?
Mhm.
They're politicians, they're lawyers. Their job is to basically do what they do. But ultimately, you have to understand economics and you have to understand the branches of government. A president or a vice president can't do anything without a Congress. So therefore, there are not things they could just go in there and do and say, hey, because I'm the head honcho, I'm going to do it. It don't work that way. If you
Mhm.
really look at what Donald Trump did, he stacked the Supreme Court in his favor.
He did.
He stacked it. And that video you played from Joy Reid was so perfect because this man put individuals in place that would give the authority to a president to say he is immune if he was doing the presidential duty. So if he shot you in the head because he was the president and he was in his duties, it's okay. Y'all
Mhm.
got to realize that certain things, it's certain things that they are doing, and like on the back end, like look at Governor, all my Texas people. I hope you check your registration because Governor Abbott has removed over 20,000 voters just because he
And
could,
and and that and that happened
just
in
because he could.
Georgia. That happened in Georgia under Brian Kemp.
Texas and
It
Georgia.
happened in Georgia
Yes.
under Brian Kemp when he was running against Stacey Abrams. My voting was moved. I didn't ask for it to be moved. It was
Mm-hmm.
moved 2 hours away, and
2 hours away, Darnell.
I still went to vote because I said, how dare you? And I knew that was done for a reason. And I still went 2 hours away to vote. So yes, it was done here when Stacey Abrams was up against Brian Kemp, and I'm sure it's being done in many other places.
It is. And it's being done again in Georgia now. And not only is Georgia moving your polling places again, but they're also putting in a place where they have the right now to kind of go in and review and certify the vote. We have never had a problem with certification of votes until this man stepped in office. Never, never. And I think it's the fact that he won't take defeat. He can't take a loss. He couldn't take a loss last night on that debate when that woman read him up and down and invaded him in every way she could. He still say he won. If you go on Truth Media, social media, whatever, he said he won last night. That was one of the best debates he had.
Oh,
It's the fact of life.
he definitely lost. And I
He lost,
wanted
but in
to
his
say
mind, he can't lose.
before I forget, Kimberly Truebat, thank you so much for the big cash app. Big cash app. She said, "I love you." Thank you, Kimberly Truebat. Thank you all for the cash app, super stickers, and all of the things. Go ahead, Carla. I'm sorry.
Again, I'm just glad you're having this conversation because I stay on top of this. I'm an advocate about our rights. I'm all in my town. I try to go, out and make sure I spread the word because again, the certain populations and certain generations just don't think they need to vote, and that's a problem. That's a problem. Everybody needs to vote. You always need to cast your vote, but making sure you all check your voter registration. You might have been registered to vote for the last 20 years, but I can
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you at this point, because see, what you got to understand is that these people know he gonna lose. They know that he got a problem. So right now they're putting everything into place to make sure they can do everything they can to make sure he gets those, like he called Governor Kemp the last 3.5 years ago when he said, I
Mm-hmm.
just need you to find so many, just one more than what we have lost by. He
Uh-huh.
knew he lost. And
And
last night, he said, I was being sarcastic when I said I lost. No, you know you lost.
no, he know. It was a
Yeah.
bunch of lies. Penny said, "Please teach your children all about voting. We have to push the younger
Yes.
generation to vote. I've been voting since I was 18 because my parents really pushed it out of our home." Want to say that as well. And Carla said something very important. You know, I happened to get a notification that my voter information had been moved 2 hours away. Right? What if you didn't get it? What if you did not get a
Right.
notification? So yes, check to make sure that you can vote where you're normally voting at because you just never know. So please
Yep.
check that. Crown says the reason is the same as the rest of the country at the beginning, and their descendants continue to say exactly. You know, we have to. Thelma says, in one breath he claims he doesn't know anything about Project 2025. The next breath he speaks about it with lies. So we do have to make sure we're doing all we can. If you can take somebody to vote or whatever. But Carla, I want to ask you something before we get to Lynn, because
Mhm.
my main question, or not even a question, it's a thought. My main thought in all of this: why do we keep having? Why does it? Why is our freedoms as Black people, as women, why are our freedoms seemingly up for renewal every 4 to 8 years?
It's because,
I don't want to renew it. It should be
yeah,
done. It should be not a question. It's the
well,
non-negotiable.
that's what Roe versus Wade was. It was non-negotiable. Our freedoms were our freedoms. However, because we had this dictator in office who can't name any other name other than a dictator, because we had this dictator in office, they were able to pull his strings and get that option removed from us because the old hags who children and grandchildren really need to have the food stamps and the welfare and having all the babies, they're the ones that pulled his string to get Roe versus Wade and stack that court. Because the purpose of Roe versus Wade was just that. There needs to be no renewal of a woman's rights. It is my body. I can do whatever I want to do with my body. But at this point, no, you can't. You can't even get birth control in some states. You can't even get your children protected in some states. So when people tell me, oh, I'm pro life, and you can be, but your neighbor might not be pro life. And if somebody raped my daughter, I'm never going to put her through the mercy of having to carry their child. That's not fair for her. And you all should just make sure it's not your choice, it's their choice. It's your daughter's choice. It's your niece's choice. It's their cousin's choice. Just because you feel some kind of way doesn't mean that they feel some kind of way. And I'm very passionate about this pro life thing because A, it took me forever to have my daughter. I have been through in vitro and everything. I have been in places where I've had to have DNCs done. And I think today, if I were that woman that was at the DNC that had to bleed out in her car because the doctors wouldn't do a DNC on her when she was losing her babies because they were scared of going to jail, come on now. Her DNC, it's just the purpose of we shouldn't have to renew our rights. We shouldn't have to renew our rights as African Americans. We shouldn't
No.
have to worry about going back to slavery. We shouldn't have
Right.
to worry about being treated like we are less than when we are greater than. And if
Right.
we stood as we were greater than, then we wouldn't have this problem. But because we got so many Uncle Toms, like a Tim Scott and the Georgia lady that you got over there, because we got so many of these people that
And
want to
at
be
this point,
liked,
I wonder when they gonna perish.
that's why they need to put term limits in Congress. Now, I'm all for term limits in Congress and that because some of them been there so long, they need to go on both sides of the aisle. Because if Mitch McConnell gonna fall out on the aisle, was Joe Biden too old? Yes, he was.
And even Melania, she ain't even able to. Now they said that little video of Melania was AI. Melania ain't even able to do this shit again.
Melania did
But
make that video.
I do want to get to Lynn because I do
Oh, go
want to
ahead,
talk
man. I'm
about
sorry. I'm gonna
Frankie
mute y'all.
Beverly, and I do want to talk about Taylor Swift. Go ahead, Miss Lynn. Thank you for waiting patiently.
Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon, love.
How are you? And I wanted to touch on what Penny said earlier about the kids voting. And if you have a family member that is in college, most of them are in college out of state, and they have to request absentee ballots. And I think next month is the deadline for that because I do have a couple of family members that I've been trying to encourage them, like, hey, because for instance, if you're 19 and the last time when you were 18 and you registered to vote, there was no election, but some of them it's their first time being able to vote, and they should request those absentee ballots, and so that because most of them are out of state. So if you
And Leah, not to interrupt, it varies by state. So they definitely need to check your state laws. You need to check those laws to make sure that they can necessarily request a primary because some of them aren't even open yet, but most of them are open. Alabama was the first state today, but definitely for mail-in ballots. So you guys check your laws because I
exactly.
don't know every state law, but please check for that. Lynn, great point. Great point.
And the person that I'm speaking of is like you said, Alabama. She lives in Georgia, but she goes to school in Alabama, and so you have to like you
So
said,
she got to follow Georgia
right,
absentee rules in that
exactly,
regard. So please, y'all, check and check every week because they're changing it every other month. It's going to be down to the wire.
right. And to piggyback off what you said about him packing the courts with the Supreme Court justices, a lot of people don't know that when Trump was in office, he also appointed maybe almost 200 other judges, district judges, and so that's how he's able
Mm-hmm.
to get a lot of those things thrown out, like that classified document case or different cases that he's had that's been thrown out were from
Yes,
judges
ma'am.
he appointed. He appointed a lot of
Mm-hmm.
judges, and none of them were black. Not one of them. Not one black out of all those 200 whatever judges that he appointed. None of them were black. And then the same thing with the Supreme Court, and they were able to get Roe versus Wade
Mm-hmm.
overturned. And so, like you said about voting rights, if if he's able to allowed to pack the courts, then a lot of our rights could be reversed, overturned.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the sad part about him. And it's like, Kamala touched on last night about how much of a racist that he is. And there's so many black people that want to vote for him, and I just don't get it.
I
How
don't get it either.
Right. She touched on how he wouldn't rent to blacks when he first had Trump Towers, how he challenged Barack Obama's birthright. I mean, his birther, and all the things that he's done, even challenging her race. So,
It,
Mm-hmm.
this man is a racist, and if you don't see it and you want to vote for this fool, thinking
And
he gave you a
and
check, and
how he cozies up to the what is, I don't know if
the
you want to call
dictators like Kim Jong-un.
neo Nazis or white
Oh, yeah.
supremacists and all of those things. How he cozies up to them, and also like Carla said, the dictators of the world. There's so much evidence to see, and it's so crazy that. But let's keep it real. We know there's some black people that want to vote for Trump because of a stimulus check.
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
are we gonna have a real conversation?
That's it. That's it.
Love me some me08. Thank you so much for the super sticker, my love. Please urge your 17-and-a-half-year-old child to register to vote. I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. We go out in local high schools to call South Gwinnett areas several times a month. So 17-and-a-half-year-olds. I thought you had to be 18. So she said 17-and-a-half-year-olds, please encourage them to vote. You do have to be 18, right? But maybe she's saying if they're 17-and-a-half, maybe they're gonna be 18 by the voting. And y'all get into technicalities. I don't know. I thought you had to be 18. But she's saying go ahead and get them when they're 17-and-a-half. I support it either way. Because if you can't do it this year, you're gonna do it next year. You're already in there. But
darn it, that's the kind of
the point that I wanted to make, as far as the black people, there's a good majority of them that want a stimulus check, and that's a sad thing. And and we know some of those people. I'm sure we all do. Mm-hmm. Now, hey, my brother, hey, my sister, it ain't gonna matter because you're gonna spend the stimulus check as soon as you get it anyway. You're not gonna do nothing with it. It's gonna be gone. And in the words of my great grandmother, you're gonna blow it up a wild hog's ass.
Remember when he insisted it was a big deal that he insisted that he wanted his names, his signature to be on those checks. That's why
Come on now, let's make it real.
They think that those checks literally came from him, like it was from his bank account.
Right.
Wake up, people, wake up. That's not how it goes. It has to be approved by Congress. This thing has to go through a channel. He's not going to just go into his bank account and write a check out for you and sign it with his name on it. It came from the government.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, really fast, I just want to talk about the price of groceries and things, and I'm gonna go. So people keep saying, "Oh, groceries are high." They are, but if you remember, we was going through a pandemic. Let's talk about economics 101. So supply and demand. If the supply is high, if the demand is high, which it was during the pandemic, we couldn't get nothing. You couldn't find nothing. The demand was high. If you remember, when we came out of the pandemic, we still didn't have nothing. Store shelves would be empty. We was waiting on stuff on barges all the way over the world. So therefore, the price of stuff started going up. Right. It just went up because they couldn't get it in fast enough. And guess what we're going to keep on doing? We're going to pay for it because we need it. We paid for eggs. Remember how high eggs were? Mm-hmm. Couldn't get eggs in there fast enough. But the demand was high, but the supply was low. So you would think that the Congress would have said, hey, now that the supply is back normal, bring the prices back down because the demand is not that great. But they didn't. That's because the people who run these companies, Walmart, Target, Costco, everywhere y'all go, basically never went back in. They said y'all was paying for it then, so why you ain't gonna keep on paying for it?
They left it like it was.
So supply and demand is so much in light here. Anybody that took economics should remember that dang on course, because I promise you I hated it. But ultimately, you tell me Trump says it was lower when he was. That's because we was in the middle of a pandemic, and then you left,
right?
And then the demand.
I think something has taken Carla out. Maybe her internet.
Have to make a choice of who you gonna vote for, but common sense gotta kick in at some point in time about who you gonna vote for and who got your back. Just because she's a Democrat, if she was a Republican giving me some goodness, I probably would have voted for her. But I'm never gonna vote for a racist. I'm sorry. Exactly. I'm never gonna vote somebody taking my rights away from me. And that's the truth.
Well, here's the thing. For me, eggs have come down tremendously. I don't know where y'all are. I did see somebody say eggs are still high. Eggs have come down tremendously. Chicken wings, which were through the roof, have come down tremendously or whatever. But even outside of that, Lynn, we lost you, love. I don't. We lost you. So even outside of that or whatever, we were talking about the stimulus check or whatever, and it's so easily for people to be swayed by that because there was the stimulus check, there was the unemployment that was going on or whatever. So we do unfortunately, and I don't know how much I'm trying to weigh out saying the right thing or what's like, I'm not a politician, right? So if I say you're ignorant, that's probably what the hell I mean. But you know, ignorant to think that this man who shows you who he is, he says these things or whatever, to dangle a carrot over your face and for you to fall for it, and then when the shit hits the fan, um, for you to have buyer's remorse. Because I was gonna, there was something else that I was gonna talk about. I don't know if I will or not about buyer's remorse. Let me speak a little bit about buyer's remorse. And see this, I never write out my lives. In the beginning, I tried to do that, and it just never went. Let me tell you something about buyer's remorse. When your ass ain't really sat good and thought about what you get yourself into, it could be a relationship with a man. It could be choosing a president. It could be making a decision. It could be capturing. It could be capturing a person who you want to capture to tell a story on social media. It could be all of these things. But when you have buyer's remorse, when that shit gets down to the thick of it, when your ass is up there and that Trump is over there in Puerto Rico throwing on paper towels and hitting you in your eye. Somebody said they wanted the StreamYard. Let me put it up. When that buyer's remorse set in, let's talk about it. When you done made the wrong decision in your relationship, and that man or woman for that matter is in your eye, is in your ass, is on your face, when you done had when you done did everything because you thought it was cute, or you thought it was going to be profitable, or you thought this or that, but when that person comes to show themselves and show who they are to you, and you have buyer's remorse, sometimes it can be too late. You already voted them in. You already done took them in, and it's going to be hell to get them out. Now, I'm preaching right now, because actually, I don't even know if anybody, I'm following my own conversation. It may not be anybody following my conversation, but I know I'm talking about a plethora of things right now. When you done took that in, and then you realize how hard it was going to be to sustain it. You realize how much of a detriment it was going to be to yourself. How much work it was going to be and effort. So you took them in and voted for them. Took them in, voted for them, however you want to do. You chose to keep them, to get them, because you saw the vision in yourself. With your vision ain't shit. You know why your vision ain't shit? Because you ain't shit. You have not produced yourself to be shit in this life, and therefore you only produce shit worth of thoughts. Now I hope somebody is following me. The reason why you ain't shit and how you keep drawing up shit and how you keep ending up with shit. So for those who want to vote for Trump, I will say, black people I'm talking about, right? I will say this. How many times have the carrot dangled in front of your face, whether it was a man, when you thought you had a lick, whether it was whatever? We're talking about ghetto vibes. We're talking about low vibration. How many times have you thought that carrot that was in front of your face was the goal that you needed to get out your situation? And you know why it's not? Because it ain't the carrot that's in front of your face. It's who you are and who you represent and what you believe. And until you change that, you're going to always keep the same thing. So you choosing the wrong man. You choosing the wrong man. Because within yourself, you have not changed nothing. You haven't changed your requirements. You haven't valued yourself. You haven't upgraded your thoughts. You're still low vibration. You're choosing the wrong man. You're choosing the wrong president. You thought you had a lick, but it's now failing and declining. And now you're trying to make up lies about the lick that you thought you had, but that lick ain't licking. All of the things. It's all because of you and your inward. All because of the gut. That you don't have the gut. You don't have the intuition from the Lord. You got the gut from the devil. The devil is telling you to do everything you're doing. It ain't God. I'm just here to tell you now. And if you followed the conversation, you didn't follow it. I know what I said. Anyway, Lynn, was you coming back? Because
I just said one more little quick thing to remind everybody that we have to vote in our midterm elections as well. Because if you remember when Barack Obama was president, we came out in droves as Black people. We came out, we voted for Barack, and we wanted to get this Black man elected. But when the midterms came, nobody voted, and he lost the Senate or the House, whichever one, and he became a lame duck president, and they wouldn't put anything through that he wanted. Whatever. And they said it. Whatever policy, whatever he wants to do, we're not going to approve it. So we have to vote in our midterms too to try and keep the Senate at least, because we do have the Senate now. So we have to make sure that we vote in our midterms as well, because those elections are just as important.
More
but
important.
You know what, Lynn? You know what, Lynn?
Mm-hmm.
I think that if we're gonna promote that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not against you, and I'm not against what you said. But I will say that I can be a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, which means that I don't think that they want that, right? So for the person who can lead us out of something,
Mm-hmm.
who promotes themselves, right, as the person who can get this done and get that done, it seems like it's fairly easy to get that person elected, but to not give them the House and the Senate, right? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To not give them the Supreme Court, to not give them all of this, which we've talked about that Trump is trying to get for the detriment of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But for the betterment of the world, why don't they promote that as such? I've never seen it promoted like that, right?
You're right.
So let me paint the picture that's in my mind. I'm your Democrat leader. I believe in let's go with some of the stuff Kamala was saying. I believe in promoting the middle class. I believe in Carla, I just want you to know your camera is on, my love. I don't know if you wanted it on or not, but it is
thank you.
on.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
You're welcome, dear.
I'm trying to mute.
So just paint this picture, right? So I'm your Democrat leader. I believe in $25,000 for single or for homeowners, for new homeowners. I believe in $50,000 for new businesses. And this is what was said, or rather, whatever.
That's
but
right.
in conjunction, I want you to know that in conjunction with you voting for me, I'm your leader that would get this done. But in conjunction with that, I need for you to vote for the Senate. I need for you to vote for the House.
Yeah.
So follow behind this vote comes this.
Right.
And together, I need all of this together to happen for me to be able to implement these changes. If you do not follow through with the rest of these things and we don't get this conglomerate accomplished, I can't pass this. I don't understand why at this time in 2024 that's not the message that's spread. Because if I vote you in as president and you don't get the Senate or the House and you don't get them both together, so you can't pass the laws, why isn't that the message overall? I need this holistic approach before I can give you all these things. And once I have all of this, then I can fulfill the promises that I made to you. But that's never told to us from the president.
Right.
And I wonder, is there a reason why?
Because they're so
It is.
busy trying to make sure that they get that job. They want to get that job as become the leader of the free world. They want
And
that job.
they do. Lynn is right. But not just the leader of the free world, but just understanding they vote for him separately. The only person I've ever heard say, I can do this, but you got to still vote in your Congress, and you still got to, you got to still vote in the right Senate and the House. You got to still vote that in, was when I heard Michelle Obama talking about it. It just don't stop here. We got to vote in the midterms as well, because if we don't, we can't get nothing done. And I agree with you. I think they should speak it more now, but because if you tell me, and that's exactly what happened with Barack, you say you're going to do all of this, but then when you didn't get it, because you didn't have the House and the Senate on your side, people start thinking Barack was a failure.
Yeah.
Because they said, oh, he said he was
Exactly.
going to do that. He was going to do that. He was going to do this.
Exactly.
But that is because, to me, the history of the mindset, something got to change. We can't keep running and getting me in and not talking about what we got to keep doing, because we wait too long. Because by the time I get you in here doing 100 things, you ain't got time to promote everybody. They need to be talking about it now, because there's a lot of people who you still got to vote for coming up with this primary that's going to change. That's going to flip the House and Senate.
That is going to, in conjunction with my effort, we all, it's almost like the what are those people called? I love science fiction. What are those people called? It's like the Marvels. They came together. I don't know the name of them.
The Avengers, right?
The Avengers.
Yep.
It wasn't just one.
Nope.
Somebody said like they're washing their ass. I don't know. It's a water.
Not me.
Okay, Carla, watch your ass.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go on mute.
So it's like, why is that not heavily told, heavily promoted? I need you to vote for me. But for me to do what I said I was going to do, for me to fulfill the promises that I made, so there's no excuses, I need for you to fulfill these following commitments. And if I have all of these things done, I can move and push the things that I said I was going to move.
Right, because if she doesn't get the House, if we're not able to keep the Senate, then it won't even matter being the president, because they're not going to let anything that she wants to do go past.
But it's never, and Carla said, okay, Michelle Obama spoke it.
She did.
Why isn't the president speaking it so loud and clear? And see, this is what this is back to, y'all don't really want shit to change. Y'all want to, I do, honestly, if I'm being honest, and I do vote, and I am going to vote, but if I'm being honest, y'all want to have shit as cliffhangers.
Yeah.
And as, because I see this speech too many times. This same speech that Kamala gave, and I'm going to say, I'm going to vote for her. I am going to take the initiative. I am going to do the thing. But it's same hope and this same thing, and then we don't really get all of the fullness of the promises.
Right.
I can't ignore that.
Yeah, and I've never thought about that. That's a good point. That is definitely a good point. I never thought about that it's never really promoted.
It's never promoted. And so now we're here, and we got a segment of the puzzle of the president of the United States.
Right.
But in the fullness of that, it's not promoted to say, you know what? In order for me to fulfill these promises that I made to you, because then on the back end, you're going to say, well, I couldn't fulfill them because I didn't have the House and the Senate.
And remember how,
but in the beginning of those promises that you're making, I want you to know that I need you to vote for me, and I'm gonna give you a date or whatever. I need you to also do this. I need you to do these things for me to bring these things together and to make these things happen. And I've never seen those things combined and told and promoted and enforced. And then when it comes to the following election, when these things then, I need you to be just as loud as you was when you was running for president. I need you to be all over everything. I need you to be on the news. I need you to be in them people's towns. I need you to do all of those things if you know that's what you need to make it done. But y'all don't do that.
You're right. And it's evident from what happened with Herschel Walker when it came down to Herschel Walker and Warnock, how they knew that Herschel Walker was an idiot, and they were all so behind him because they wanted the Senate that bad. And it was just that one seat between Herschel Walker and Warnock, and thank God Warnock got it and Georgia came through. But I'm just saying that's how important that these Senate seats are, and we've won just by that one seat. You know, so that's so important, and it seems like we would have learned from that. But like you said, though, it is not promoted until it's
It's
time.
not. And from what I understand, I told y'all I kind of deal with a lot of stuff around here locally. And I don't know about it on a national level, but from what I understand, because I've asked this question as well, why don't they talk about this while they're running for president? I need you to vote. And they said because sometimes if you sign off on someone and they're so quote unquote radical, then it kind of takes away from your votes because you're supporting A, B, and C in that regards. And you're not looked at as the perfect president in that regards. I said, but it don't matter. If we know we need the House and we need the Senate, then we need to put all that we can in there, no matter what.
I feel like within that regard, you could promote, you know what? I feel like in that regard, you can promote the promise over the person.
Agreed.
If you feel like that person is going to be on the team and they're going to be within the team and follow whatever, you can promote the promise over the person.
You're right.
So I still don't buy that. I still, if JQ is gonna say, okay, I'm gonna support this as the give Democrat or whatever, it don't matter what they did and what happened and all of that stuff. Are they gonna push the agenda as they would say? Are they gonna push the agenda?
But okay, question for you, Darnell. So like right now, Kamala is out here. She's campaigning. She's campaigning to get herself elected. So you're saying at the same time, she should be in her campaigns. I guess you're saying she should say, hey, and don't forget further down the road when it's come time for the midterms,
Exactly.
I need you there then too.
They should have a strategy that is not only based on her winning the presidency, it's also based on the House and also based on the Senate and those votes that need to be won and where they need to be won, and as a holistic thing. As yes, I'm voting for your presidency. Yes, absolutely, indeed. But for me to give you the fullness that I have to give you and the promises that I have made and all of the things, it's almost like teach the people. Teach them. So, since y'all, look, like they said, since you got your degrees and shit, so since y'all down to the cities that matter, that change the things, go down that deep.
Yeah.
Into the cities that need to vote in their Democratic judges and
I see.
they need to vote in their Democratic houses and senates.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I know I ain't the only mind that can think of this.
No, and I know somebody has already thought about it. Somebody wrote that Barack always said vote Democrat, straight down. I've always been told, growing up, know who you're voting for.
It can get deeper than that.
Yeah.
It can get deeper than that.
But see, the problem is that all of them come up for re-election at the same time, though, Darnell.
But
not all of them come up for re-election.
But they have the statistics. We hear them all the time. They
We
get
do.
they get the statistics down to the counties
Right.
and the
Yes, we
cities.
do. We
So
do.
don't miss me with that because they get the statistics down to the counties and the cities.
Yeah.
So let the counties and the cities know that if we had this for your county, if we had this for your city, and collectively with my presidency, we could do these things. Y'all got all of the data. Y'all display it all the time. Is you with your degrees, put them together and make a holistic approach to how shit can get done, not just for you to win the presidency. And even though I know that's the importance, and I know that's the focus, and I know that, maybe it's quote unquote one thing at a time. But once they win that presidency, they don't go back with that full energy. They don't go back with that same energy.
Oh no.
They don't never go back with that same energy.
No, they got
to say, this is what I need from the county, this is what I need from the city. They don't do that.
No.
None of them.
And they don't go back out in campaign until it's midterms. So whoever is running for the midterms, they'll go out in campaign.
None of them. So that's why my post said, and it's going to be missed by people. And as far as I'm concerned, this is a big conversation. How do we keep ending up here?
Right.
You fucking play too much for me with the politics. You play too motherfucking much.
Too much. The same reason why that man back on the ticket again. You tell me how he back on that ticket again.
Right, because
it's all about money.
If it's up to him, you already the president. Why are you back on? You said you didn't lose it. You still, you know what I'm saying? So you still the president in your mind. And you see on his hats, he's got 45 through 47.
I ain't looked at his hat, Lynn. I don't want to see it.
At the new hats,
did y'all hear him say he was gonna send her a MAGA hat last night?
Yeah,
I did. I did hear that.
Yeah.
So listen, I want to give my deepest condolences. I love y'all, by the way. What can I tell y'all? First of all, let me tell y'all, Carla, I've been loving you, and Miss Lynn, I want to thank you because you've been a great addition to the intelligence of the conversation here with the Nosy Neighbors. Let me tell you, we can crack the shit, we can shoot the shit, we can kick the shit.
Yeah.
But we also can be very intelligent and have intellectual conversation. Although we know when we have the intelligent conversation, we're going to have fewer voters. There's a lot that I have in my mind that I know I could have did right now tonight, and I would have had 600 to 800 people. It's already in my mind. I already knew I could have did it. It was already, it was already here. Love me some Me08. I see something. Thank you so much for the super chat, actually, my love. Everyone looks to the president, but in the Senate and the Congress, that fights only. But in the Senate and the Congress, that fights on our behalf. President, Senate, and Congress all have a third power. I mean, we do have the legislative, hold on now. What's the three things?
Judicial,
legislative, the judicial, and the executive.
The president is the executive.
Did I get it right?
You
got it right, brother. Yes.
Okay. Because now one thing I don't like is y'all calling upon my brain right now.
We got you down there. Don't worry. Tell them next to the players. Can we talk about Frankie Beverly and how them folks gonna be drunk tonight?
No, we can't. But I'm glad I got it right. Okay. So we have these three branches of government. Okay. Now, mind you, if you heard what the good sis has to say, a lot of the branches of government and also within the confines of niches of the government, right? So what I mean by that is like, just say I'm probably not going to say this right, but just say like who's ever over like who's ever over like pollution, right? Who's ever over electric and the grid and whatever. So now, from what the lady was saying, and so now it's going to be there are not the expertise anymore. It's the government and it's the president and who he and what he decides.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all of these things. But I do want to say thank you so much, Love Me 08, for the super chat. She says, everyone looks, well, we already read that, first of all. But in addition to that, there were some cash apps that came through. So I want to thank, which I think I already said, Kimberly Trueback for the big cash app that said, I love you. I want to thank Shahan. I guess that's how to pronounce your name, Shahan. I want to thank you for the cash app. I want to thank Mior for the cash app. Maybe y'all got some strange names tonight. I want to thank y'all all. And let me go back to this. I really want to thank and give a special thanks to Charnette. And the reason I want to do that, Charnette sent a tremendously large cash app. And the reason I want to go back to thank her on tonight is because this is not a live, like I told you before, of mess. And because it was policy and politics and intelligence or whatever, there weren't as many people on, and I'm okay with that. But I want to thank Charnette for, in this live, deciding to send me this cash app. Because she could have sent it so many other times for so many other reasons, but she decided to send it now. And I really just want to give an extra thanks for her for doing that, because it really means a lot, and it really compensated for a lot, because we have Carla and Lynn, y'all can attest, we have game nights where we give away hundreds of dollars.
Ooh, and I almost got that last one. I was so mad.
And we still don't have the volume, as if I was talking about mess. So I see why sometimes the people on the internet perpetuate the mess.
Yeah.
Because there's a live, I know right now in my head, there's a live that is pending, and it may be void, and it may not be void. I don't know yet. But that same live I could have did tonight, I would have had 600-800 people. I know that for a fact. I've seen it too many times. But if I want to have a game, I can't even give money away for y'all to come over here. I can't talk about politics for y'all to come over here. But for this night, for Charnette to send me that cash app, I thank you so much for that, for this night. I really, really honestly do.
Very nice.
So, any closing words, people? Any closing words? Any closing words? Lynn, you're on the line, so you might as well be first.
Well, I'll just encourage everyone to get out and vote. I enjoyed the debate last night. I think Kamala did a fantastic job, and she shut him down. He was shook. He was shaken, and I enjoyed the debate. The debate, and I just encourage everybody to get out there and vote.
Ooh. Thank you so much. And Carla, any closing words?
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for taking the time to come out and have this live and even speak with us about it. You've been talking about Project 2025. You've been talking about stuff that is not mess, that is not stressful, that is not the same old day-to-day rigmarole. Because, I feel like sometimes social media is like politics. It's the who wants to be the most popular. It's the who's going to be so jealous. And I thank you for, having this live. It was enough, wasn't too much. And I think it opens some people's eyes, because you just never know, Darnell, who you touch, because you touch more people than you could ever imagine. Pastor Gloria has always told you that. You affect and touch more people than you could ever imagine. And I just thank you for having this live tonight.
Me too.
She has, and again, pending lives in my head, and a live that I know could have generated more people, maybe not necessarily more revenue, but definitely more people. And my channel, we can all do better. I can do better. And I said we, I didn't say y'all. But what I don't want people to think is they're exempt from doing better. So we can all do better. And I thank you all. There's been some people that spoke out. They said, well, we're here. I'm here. I've been listening. And I thank you all very, 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 very much. And I heard something. So I thank you all for sending cash outs. Vicky P, thank you so much for the cash out. She said, just got here. I'll catch the replay. Thank you for the cash out, Miss Vicky P. You always are supporting the channel. Lacondas, big cash out. She said, I will always support you. Thank you so very much. And I think I told y'all, Kimberly, True Bat for the big cash out, Miss Billy for the big cash out, Thelma for the cash out, Charnette for the enormously huge, gargantuate, I don't know what's the word y'all want to use, for the cash out, Miss Phyllis for the cash out. I thank y'all very, 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 very much.
Thank you for the compliment you gave me.
I really do. And listen, I don't know, were you born? I don't know you were born for such a time as this. Oh, that's very special to me that you said that. Because listen, here it is. You know, there's no way we should be online, you know, back and forth, to and fro with bullshit. There's no way we should be online and we clearly know a person is deranged. They are mentally unstable. They don't have their mental together. And in turn, they're trying to gain some type of mental capacity by being online and having affiliation with people and people liking them, like they clearly generate some sort of renewance by them having that only thing in life. And you know what's crazy, baby? In the all in all, if that is what is renewing your life, and if that is what's keeping you from slicing deeper in your arm, it's one thing to say, you know what, I'm glad that you found this thing. But it's another thing to say that you're harming someone. You don't care about their mental illness. You don't care if they were to turn to a slice. It's another thing to say that. So it's just all convoluted. Because the world that we're in, and we got these people. Now, I'm going to say this, and I promise you this is not to offend nobody, and I'm not even trying to even be funny. But back when I was growing up, the special people, they was really special. They was walking on them little crutches and things. They had wires and shit, all kind of shit they had, the special people. But nowadays, the special people have this arrangement right there on the spectrum. So they can talk regular, almost. They can sound regular, almost. They can type regular. They might say added, but they don't really mean added. You know, they can try their best, and they might come off to some people as if they are normal, and that's part of the problem. I'm not actually saying or picking. What I'm actually being very serious and very real. This whole spectrum of the mentally ill causes some people to take people more serious because they can't easily identify them as mentally ill, as prior generations have been able to do that. And so I will say to you, you mentally ill person on the spectrum, if you realize that this is something that has sustained you and has kept you from doing something to yourself and harm or whatever, it's so hypocritical of you to spew this stuff out. Lies, mostly, I'm sure. Lies we heard recently. Just lies after lies after lies. Just because somebody says something doesn't mean that it's true. People will say something to cover up their own infractions and their own reasons why they don't want you to hear this and see this and say that. They will make up a lie to do it. But you don't care about none of that. You don't care about how another person will interpret and collectively digest the lies. You don't care what they might do to themselves. But yet you don't want to press down hard enough to eradicate yourself. You don't want to press down that hard. You just want to press a little bit so you can get some attention. Because you could have just as easily put the force you needed, and I wish I had the equation, but you could have pressed harder to put down the force.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
You could have pressed harder to put down the force you needed to do what you needed to do, but you didn't do that. You pressed just slight enough to get the attention that you needed.
Lena, come get him.
Because no, Lena can't come get me. Lena can't
I know. I'm just saying that, but I know what you mean.
Let me finish saying what I said. Lena can't do shit with me, because let me tell you something. I'm a person of I'm a realist, and I'm all of those things. So, and I'm not very soft when it comes to emotions or whatever. So my point is that you press down hard enough to get attention, but you didn't press down hard enough to be effective. So we know you got some sense. Okay? And my subsequent thought is how you know that you ain't gonna say and do in conjunction with all of the people that you're working with to cause somebody to press down hard enough to fulfill the shit you're playing with. I'm very clear on all of it. And so for that, somebody say you're speaking the truth. For that, I will say you're playing a game. You know the game that you're playing. You're looking for community, but you're looking for it in the wrong way. You could be doing something else with the community that you're looking for, but you don't give a damn about nobody else's mental health. And I often have wondered, and I will wrap this up to say why I'm saying this. I often have wondered, what would you feel and what would y'all feel if the person that y'all have been pressing and compiling up against would have taken their life? Would you have felt anything? Would you have blamed yourself? Would you have said you had some accountability or some type of contribution to that happening? Or would you have said you didn't have nothing to do with it and you would have been a BAL? Okay. So anyway, I let the spirit lead me in my conversation so it can go from Trump to your ass. Okay. So now we on your ass. And you're a fake and a fraud when it comes to mental health, because ain't no way you can have that much mental health and not give a damn about nobody else. You're a fake ass mental health ass. That's what I contribute you as. You're a fake ass mental health bitch. And if you don't give a damn about your arm, I don't give a fuck about it either. Press down harder. Good night.